Hi, this is Athena with AMG Creates, and this is the button shaker card. Um, I am using How You Been and the buttons add-on and the You're So Mice. And what I did, in order for this to be a shaker card, there is another add-on, as you can see, that will take a whole, I basically put a whole bunch of them for the shaker and glued them together. So if you don't have any foam strips or anything like that, then that's what you can do. I think I did 6 or 7 of them and just glued them together and then put them underneath something heavy so that they didn't warp. I'm not putting glitter or anything in it, so it was okay how it was. And then the top of the jar goes there, the buttons go on the solid part, and that goes in the middle. So the only problem is that I didn't pre-cut out a piece of acetate, so I used a piece of like Ziploc bag, which didn't hold up too well. It was a little too flimsy. So after I made it, it sort of fell in, I guess. It wasn't flat. It fell in. And now it doesn't shake, which is okay. Yeah, so the fun part is always make sure that you have something before you put down the glue. Yeah, that gives it a nice little bit of depth right there, and that can settle while I'm doing this. So I did the buttons and then color them in. So even though I'm going to have shaker buttons, um, it looks like I have more, if that makes sense. It's just something that's behind there that makes it look a little bit more full. I'm using a couple of different colors, a couple of different shades of pink and purple to make sure that they are all colored. And then I pre-cut out and colored some other buttons, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of time. But yeah, those are the buttons. It doesn't matter how much you put in. You could also put in real buttons. If you go to any craft store, they will have buttons in there. Just make sure that it's that they'll fit, basically, that they're thin enough to fit. And then I'm leaving one out for um, for the mouse that's gonna do the thing. So I'm making sure that this is all glued together so there are no gaps, just in case one of them gets stuck. If you're using glitter, you need an anti-static thing. It's just like a powder brush or whatever. As you can see, they jiggle a little bit, they move around a little bit. They don't anymore. It didn't take very long for them to stop, and that's mostly because and I'm looking at it right now, but yeah, they're moving a little bit still. Yeah, you need thicker plastic whenever you do that, otherwise it's not gonna work out for you. Acetate, which is a thicker plastic, is something that you can use. And then these are the mice. I wasn't too sure about what I was going to do. Like, I had an idea, but I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. So you can see me make up stuff on the fly. Also, I don't have the die to cut out the top for that, so I just cut it out after I color them. I find that it is easier to color everything while before it gets cut out. The problem sometimes is that the washi tape that I use will bring up the color. So it makes the part where I put the washi tape over whenever I smush it, it makes it lighter, and I think it's just because of the type of color pencil that I use. So the I love you on there was all one little part, and basically I did the I heart and then made sure that the black was good and cleaned off the U, and then I did the U and make sure that everything was cleaned off. You can either do that or you can cut them. I try to not cut them. So as you can see, I was flattening that too, just to make sure that it didn't warp. And now this is me trying to figure out what I want to do. So do I want to make it look like they're dumping out? I had one of the mice in my head that were gonna like hold it and dump it out. Are they trying to put pick up the pieces? So you can see my thought process through here, and this is just all part of card making. It's of course what you don't see. So in my head, this was too steep of a bump, because all of those would have fell out. There would have been more. And I really didn't like that idea. So I'm moving it around a little bit to figure out what I want. And then I realized that it's going to be really plain. So I'm going to make a background. A lot of people will do a card front on their own bit of cardstock and then glue that whole thing onto the front of a card. And that's cool, that works, that makes it its own scene. And this one being the third one out of 3, this seems okay to me because this means that you have all of the things to do this. And making a background isn't all that hard to do. I just wasn't sure how to do it. I had brought this out. This is fun. This is from We Are Makers. And it's just a different way to stamp stuff down. I was like, yeah, this would be cool. But in my head, it wasn't going to work. So I thought about doing a card where I'd stamp things. I thought about making a rotational card where I stamp them around so it looks like a Zen tangle thing. I decided that that wasn't going to work out either, so I just took all the little bits and bobs that were in there and sort of placed them around. And then did a slightly monochromatic thing, so it's not too distracting if you have a like color. And I do have a sort of pastel purple that's right there. So, and I always do a little bit of an ink test where I rub it on what I'm going to use. Yeah, then I do this, and this makes a nifty little pattern for card. And then I move it over a little bit so that it's not so similar, but it still looks good. And of course, with it being the background of a card, I don't think anybody's going to look at it and go, oh, I see what you did there and it looks terrible. It's just the background of a card. So you can also use ink for heat embossing, because that leaves a lovely monochromatic thing too. It's just really sticky if you don't know how to heat emboss. So yeah, see, and that makes a lovely background for a card. I think it worked out quite nicely. So now I'm just figuring out what I'm doing. Figure that he's trying to close it, but there's one more left. But I want to make sure that the top looks good with it and everything. The stuff that you guys don't see. That, and it was getting a little bit annoying because everything was moving. So I wanted it to put somewhere and it kept sliding over. So I decided on this. Basically the buttons were going to be in the middle, the one mouse was going to be holding the lid, and the other mouse was going to be on top saying, hey, 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 I got one more button. Kind of like the crafty problems where you put everything all back in its place and then you find like 2 more of that thing and you don't know how that happened, and somehow they decided to have babies and now it's all over the place again. Same thing. So if you guys like this, please make sure to like and subscribe if you would like to leave a comment too. Next week is camping, I think is the camping theme. So that'll be fun. I have tents, I have s'mores, I have a lot of stuff. I'm really excited to do more cards. I'm really enjoying this. I hope you guys are too. So again, please make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe so that you guys can see this on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Of course, I put that little mouse that says I love you on the inside. After I get this all sorted out, I don't know what I'm doing right here. I should have cut this out and didn't. Oh. So I make sure that, so it says bean meaning to say. So I like that this is just a nice little I love you card. And then put this down with some tape runner. Tape runners are the best. Make sure that it's on there. I could have brought it a little bit more down, but that's okay. They shake a little bit, and then you open it up and that's right there, and I think that it's really cute. I've got more ideas that are like this where you open it up and there's more in the card. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed that. It was fun for me, and I will see you guys again next week.